All right, let's get to Rena or
Hi,
Rena. What's your
Rena.
race and
Rena.
ethnicity? Rena, okay.
African American, blended family. I saw the
African
question.
American blended family. What else are you mixed with?
Mexican. My
Okay.
father's black. My mom's Mexican.
Okay.
ICE. ICE is not America's problem, especially Black America's problem. We don't owe them anything. A lot of them. I'm here in LA, and I can honestly say that when it's come to anything that's affected the Black community, the Latino community doesn't come out. Even if you're mixed, even if you might look Mexican, you might look Latino, it all comes down to color, and they know that. And for them to be crying out that they want us to stand with them and we're not doing our part out here, no, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. You don't get to pick and choose. You don't get to pick and choose what we're supposed to be doing for them. Because if it was us and this was the other way around, they wouldn't care. Because they don't.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't care. So I'm with you on that. They shouldn't. It's not our problem. ICE is not our problem. I do feel bad for some of the things that are taking place. But if you're here, you've been here 20 years, 35 years, and you've never done anything to get your papers in order, that's on you. They've made it very easy for them to become US citizens, and they just don't do it. Cuz guess what? That's that privilege of that they don't feel like they need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a problem with that. I really do.
Thank you. Just like the other guy, and I'm gonna have to circle some people out because I gotta let more people up. Um, but just like the other guy was talking about the fact that you feel entitled to an amendment that my people had to sacrifice in order for it to be here through the Dred Scott decision and everything. My folks had to sacrifice, and you're openly admitting that you plan on exploiting that amendment in order to stay in the country because you feel, according to you, it's too difficult or it's too long. It's really not too difficult. It takes too long to become a citizen. Now, millions of other immigrants have done that, but for you, you don't want to wait that long. So you feel like you have the right to just bum rush the law or exploit a loophole or an oversight in the 14th Amendment. So, and Obama has said that this has been a problem of long. This is before he even became president. He was saying that this was a big problem. Okay, Biden has said this was a big problem. He didn't do nothing. But Trump has said this is a big problem. This has been a very big problem. Now something is being done about it. Y'all crying like this is some type of immoral thing when if I was to go to Mexico and they told me to leave, I wouldn't be able to say nothing about no due process. Hold on, let me see a judge. Are you serious? I wouldn't be able to protest and riot, talk about I want to see a judge before I get deported, and they wouldn't defend me if I was there either. If I was in their homeland, they wouldn't be defending me staying in there. They'd probably get me out before the government do. So we're not even playing that game. But
I did have one more thing to say
okay,
is
go
I
ahead.
do get upset when I hear the Latino community and a lot of immigrants say that they built this country or the immigrants built this country. No, black people built this country. This country was built by black people, blood, sweat, and tears. The America that's great is the America that black people got that built. And I have a real problem with even them saying that and being out here in LA that they built America and they make America what it is. Immigrants make America what it is. No, black people make America great. They make America great and what it is. So I have a problem with that, and I just want to thank you for having this platform to be able to say that.
And thank you. I appreciate your honesty.
The
All
only
right.
thing that they built was the momentum and a ladder to come over that damn wall and cross that river.
All right. You
That's
keep
all.
Let's get to that boy. You got it.
Oh God! After two
What's,
hours,
what's,
he
what's
finally
your race
made
and
it up.
ethnicity? Okay, you can hold on, ma'am. What's your race and ethnicity? That boy.
I mean, I'm black, but I'm mixed. I'm Venezuelan and Haitian. My mom is Venezuelan. My pops is Haitian.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, Afro. When is my turn? As Santa, I'm still. I've been
Okay,
an hour
well,
waiting.
I'll let you go after him.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That boy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I want to kind of what the last person said that you had up here about the immigration, how long the process take. I'm gonna be honest with you, it don't even take that long. My parents, they talk about it all the time, and I got family members that's still trying to escape Venezuela and come out here. It don't take that long. Like, honestly, the God truth, or I'm not even gonna say that long, but it's not difficult. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And if you look at it, I see, we in a melting pot in New York. So it's like we don't really see the difference with the Mexicans, anything like that. Cause we all, we all in the same pot together. But if you look at it, right? You get down to it with the parents, like their older generation of parents and stuff like that. The people that want us to fight and stick up for them. They wouldn't speak Spanish to us because of my skin complexion. You get what I'm trying to show you? We
Hmm.
could speak to them in Spanish and they will reply back to us in English. Like, it's a disgrace to even have a conversation with us in Spanish, right? And what's crazy about the situation is they always want us to pick up and fight for them. Always want us to pick up and fight for them. Mind you, it has nothing to do with us, right? Then they come with this fear mongering thing. Oh, yo, if you don't pick up, they're gonna come for y'all next. They're gonna come for y'all next. All right, cool. They're gonna come for us next. They've been coming for us our whole life. And guess what? We get back up every time. We get back up every time they come for us. It comes to the fact that even when they do try to come for us, we don't even know that they're coming for us. Whatever the case may be, or what they're trying to say that they're coming for us. The white man, this, that, and the third. I see it though. Honest to God, truth is, yeah, they could get up out of here. Like, they're taking up too much space. You're doing things illegal. That's a crime, to be honest with you. We got people in jail that didn't even commit crimes, and they're sitting there over 10 plus years for things that they didn't even do. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's like you focused on a bunch of people that, like you said, crawled underneath a barbed wire fence, came over here illegally, but you're not even focused on the innocent or the homeless people. You get what I'm saying? Or the kids that's not even eating out here. Like, y'all worried about everything else. This is why not just in New York City, but the whole world falling apart just because of that. And it's like these people so blinded by the truth. And every time, even like I'm hearing you tell people the truth, it's like they're getting offended and then they're getting all offensive and they want to, and it's like, yo, what happened? The truth is better. So at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna land my plane quick, but at the end of the day, it's like, why would you even want to argue against your own people in the fact that in your own home, your own backyard, you got people shitting in your own backyard and you want to live in that? It's like, come on, why are you doing that? You can't go to their country and do that at all. I travel. I went to Mexico. I went to Aruba. You go to these certain places, they look at you funny just because you from America. They don't even want you in there established. You just want your dollar. That's it. After you get this dollar, they're not getting nothing else from you. They want to kick you up out of here. So it's like, I'm not with none of that. I'm for my American people. I feel like what Trump is doing is right. I'm not even gonna sweat it. I land my plane.
Appreciate that. And I'm glad, as somebody who has an immigrant background, can contest to the fact that no, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. These people just don't want to wait. These people don't want to put in the work. These people want to bypass the law, like he said. And he's all like, well, if enough of us come in here, they're going to have to just make us citizens by default. And if I was the president of any country, I would say, I'm not letting y'all get that close. And in Mexico, the Mexican president wouldn't let millions of Americans up in there and talk about, hey, we in here now, you might as well make us citizens. Man, hell no. You would have the army and you would have the entire army come there, and you might not make it out alive if you try to do that in any other country in the world. As far as ICE is concerned, ICE is being nice, because if you go to Mexico and try that, you might not make it back to America. If you go to anywhere else in the world and try that, you might not make it out alive. If you go and try that, say I'm a be in here and I'm a protest the government and burn the flag, and you better make me a citizen. You might not make it out alive. And that's not just including the government, that's including the
Mm-hmm.
citizens. The
Mm-hmm.
citizens might get at you before the government do. And in America, y'all feeling emboldened off of our plight, talk about the 14th Amendment. If I was the president, I can't say I would do anything differently. There's millions of y'all. This is an epidemic that no other country has to face. Y'all gotta go. And y'all can go, y'all can self-deport and then come back the right way. Y'all don't even want to do that. So what you want me to do? Just say you citizen? Nah, that ain't gonna work. Sorry. Sorry, that ain't gonna work. But let's get to what's this? You at the top, Sano, whatever your name is. Sano, what's your name?
Yeah, Santa.
Sano.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. What's on your mind?
Uh, I just want to, talk facts on my,
What's
from
your race
my
and ethnicity, Sano?
experience.
What's your race and ethnicity?
Uh, Mexican American. Mexican American. Um,
What is your race?
I just
What is your race, sir?
my race white.
Okay, thank you.
Uh huh. Um, what I want to share with all of you is just facts from someone who's 55 years old, who has lived at the border all his life. I have lived on the Mexican side. I have lived on the American side in Arizona. And by the way, our relationship with the black community is awesome in Arizona for the most part. In Tucson, we get along. We love each other. We do things together. Phoenix, Arizona, somewhat. Here in the Yuma area, I mean, you're never gonna hear issues between the blacks and the Mexicans. We Arizona is very different than what I was listening to right now when you guys were talking about California. But in Arizona, Texas, where I have half of my family, blacks and Mexicans, man, we have a total different experience from what you guys have been describing when it comes to California. And it's kind of sad to hear that there's a major division between both, but not in Arizona, brother. I mean, that's what I can say. And the facts that I want to talk about are are the following. When we talk about the Mexicans in the United States, we're talking about 45 million. Out of those 45 million, 5 million are undocumented. That's it. It's a lot, but they're the majority. But in reality, there's a total of anywhere between 11 and 20 million undocumented. But 5 million alone are of Mexican descent. Okay, that those 5 million, the only reason they're here is because this is a community that have been marginalized in Mexico. And because they've been marginalized by generations, a lot of these people, they don't know anything better. But you know what? My grandfather did it. My father did it. Now I'm going to do it. And my son will do it, in terms of coming illegally to the United States. Because it's typically the same supervisors, the same business owners that they already know Ramon. So now Ramon Jr., now I want Ramon the third, because they feel comfortable working with those communities. As a matter of fact, right now in Yuma, the second port of entry, not the port of entry, the second border inspection, it's shut down. You know why it's shut down? Because if they keep it open, the undocumented can't go through there in the buses to pick up our watermelon here in Arizona at 124 degrees. Nobody else will do it. Not even by paying you $25, $30 an hour. None of us will
Let
do
me
it.
let me let you. You gotta land so I can respond to
Yeah,
what
let
you.
me land. Let me land. The facts that I want to talk about here are just simple. There's different layers of Mexicans in the United States. There's first generation Mexicans, there's second generation Mexicans, there's third generation Mexicans, and then there are those I'm talking about those 40 million, okay? Within those 40 million, there's Mexicans that never cross the border, that don't have a single family member in Mexico. The border crossed them in the 1800s, period. So when we talk about sending Mexicans to Mexico, it's very ignorant whomever uses that term, because you might be talking to those Mexicans that they got no one in Mexico because the border crossed them, and they're part of those 40 million. Okay, so we gotta be very careful, because see, we cannot throw everybody
When
in
you
the
say
same.
okay, when you say the
Can
border
I
crossed
respond
them,
to him for you?
when you say the border crossed them, you mean like California, right?
Well, yeah, where the border was put, yeah, back in 48.
In the 1840s, in the
Can
Yeah,
I
1840s,
1840.
respond
right?
on your behalf?
So you're referring to people from 1848.
Yes, that is
No.
Okay,
correct.
no, these people
They
are
were
not
here
from,
already.
sir. These people are not from Mexico. Now, people keep
They
bringing up
were.
California. California, what is known today, the land that is known today as California, it was Mexico for less than 30 years after they defeated the Spaniards and they claimed the land as Mexico. because it used to be owned by Spain. After they did that, now either I'm right or wrong. People say I don't know
You
Mexican
are
history.
right. You are
It
right.
was it was it was Mexico for a
There were
very small amount of time. It's not Mexico for no generations and generations and generations. It didn't last that long. America, they had a treaty. They signed a treaty and they lost that land and they received millions of dollars for that land. The people who are coming here now and the people who are there, this is in the 1840s. In the 1840s, there was, even if we're going to be generous and say there was about 100,000 Hispanics, and that's very being incredibly generous. Now you have what you said, like 40 something million Mexicans, and we're just talking about the Mexicans who are in America. They're not from California, and they're not descendants of people who are from California. They are from the southern border, which is currently Mexico, and they are feeling entitled because once upon a time, 150 something years ago, California was for a split second Mexico. We're not going to sit up here and be doing that.
Can I answer to that?
I'm
Can I
gonna let you
answer?
land, and then we're gonna have to move on. But I mean, because
Oh,
that's just the fact. That's just the
I
history.
really wanted to
that,
respond to him,
that
Hold
still,
immigrants,
on,
but I
hold
was
on.
just
that's
like,
I'm gonna let
no.
what I
I'm gonna
wanted.
let Senna
What,
go.
yeah, because I waited an hour. I feel
There's
like
other
deserve,
people waiting.
a few minutes,
It's a
because I
lot of
waited
people
an
who've been
hour.
waiting, sir, and
But,
I'm letting you go.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Well, the one thing is that it doesn't matter if it was a year or 20 or 30. Mexico won that war. Mexico became independent,
Hmm.
and they became
What?
Mexico. So by you saying
You mean the war with Spain or America?
no, Mexico, it was New Spain. It was not Spain, sir. It was New Spain. They called it New Spain
This the
with yeah.
Spanish owned it.
I'm talking about Mexico back in the 1840s. It was New Spain. It was not Spain no more. It's like New Mexico here in the States. It's not Mexico no more, but it's
Are
New
you okay?
Mexico.
So let me be clear, because I'm a little.
Yes.
Are you talking about California? Or are you talking about the land that we know today as Mexico?
In general, back in the 1840s, it wasn't, you're right about being Spain, but it was New Spain. It wasn't no more
What is
Spain.
the what, sir? Did the Spanish own it? Because this is semantics. Did the Spanish own the land? Yes or no? Did they rule the land? Yes or no?
They conquered the indigenous people of
Okay, so that's a
Tenochtitlan.
yes.
That is
Then that's
correct.
a yes.
But it wasn't it wasn't no longer Spaniards
Did,
in the
sir,
because that
if they
happened in
conquered,
15.
they conquered the land. The
Yes,
Mexicans fought the Spaniards off, and
correct.
they ended the Spanish rule in Mexico.
That
Okay,
is correct.
if you want, they ended the Spanish rule in Mexico. That extended to the land that was California for about less than 30 years or so. Around the end of the 1840s, America and Mexico, which was California today, signed a treaty. America gave
Why was
Mexico
that treaty
millions of
signed,
dollars. America
Afro?
gave Mexico, sir, America gave Mexico millions of dollars so they can claim
They did
California.
not,
And
Afro.
they're
You're
currently
wrong. See,
claiming
that's
California. The people who are coming here, millions and millions, are not coming here from California. They're coming here from the land that has been Mexico for hundreds of years. That's a very big difference. All right.
30 seconds. That's all I ask, and you can cut me off.
Four,
30
30
seconds.
seconds. And then,
30
Peter,
seconds. The 30 seconds, Afro, is that you've said this 3 times already, and you're wrong.
what am I
he's
wrong?
right.
United
Go ahead.
United
He is right.
States United States never paid a single dollar
No,
for
Okay,
he is right.
what they
That is
no,
not
let me
true.
finish.
Go
I'm
ahead. Go
asking
ahead.
30 seconds. I'm asking
Love
for
me,
30 seconds,
please.
and you guys can cut me off. I'm just saying in 30 seconds the following. United States never paid a dollar for stolen land. You know what they paid? 50. The treaty said 15 million to pay for the damages of the war between United States when they invaded Mexico, because we invaded Mexico, and all the damages created in the war equal to $15 million, which we only paid 3 million. And it's in a document in the White House. It's in the archives. We just got to do our research. They never paid the 15 million. We
Okay,
never
so
did.
they never
Okay.
paid, or they didn't pay
Never.
50 million, because that's not the same thing.
And it
Right.
was not for the land. It was not for the land. It was for damages
What
created by the
was
U.S.
money?
Mexican War.
Okay, was money, because this is semantics again, and it was 15
Stolen
million.
land.
But
It was 15
let's say
million.
for the sake of the argument, it wasn't 15 million. For the sake of the argument, it wasn't 15 million. Was Mexico paid, yes or no? And did Mexico sign a treaty giving its land up to America, yes or no? The United States government, yes or no?
United States never paid land. They stole it. They took it
Okay.
by
They
force.
you
That
just
is
said
correct.
they paid 3 million. Then I say, okay, I agree. They paid 3 million. Here you go saying they didn't pay anything. Did they pay three? Can you make the story up? Did they pay 3 million or did they not pay anything? Because according to documented history, they paid 50 million. You're saying they paid 3 million in one sentence and then didn't pay anything in the other sentence. Okay.
Correct.
Did they pay
Correct.
money at all? And then did the Mexican government sign a treaty to give up California?
No, it didn't happen that way. They destroyed Mexico, and because of those damages, the same thing we did when we went to Iraq. We destroyed Iraq, then we need to repair. That's the same thing they did. They
How
destroyed
much how
Mexico
much
to
money did
steal the
America
land.
how much money did America pay them?
Oh God.
3 million for
Okay, so they paid
the
three
land that
million. Okay.
for the
Did
buildings and
did
everything
they
they
did
destroyed
they
in
sir
Mexico.
did the Mexican government sign a treaty, yes or no?
They were forced, yes. They were forced. It's not that Mexico gave it up. They were forced to do so because it's stolen. We stole their land
Hold
like we've
on,
been
time out.
stealing,
I need to say
like we're
something. Hold
Yeah, I
on.
like
really
we've
need to
been
say
selling
something.
our
Okay,
Hold
country
on.
and
okay, we're
everything.
not
Listen.
gonna do this. Okay, because
Yeah.
at this point you're lying about
No,
documented
no, no.
history.
I'm
He's
gonna have to
That we
stop
lying.
can
you. I'm gonna have to cut him off.
literally
Amén,
I'm
Listen,
gonna have to
thank
cut
you.
him
listen,
off.
listen. Even
everybody
me,
stop.
who is the
Everybody stop.
immigrant,
Okay.
Everybody stop. We can literally go and Google all of what I'm saying. And even if what he's saying is 100% the case, what he's talking about is in the 1840s. So he's saying now that people get to come into America because California used to be Mexico for a split second in the 1840s. How does this make sense?
I never said that they can come in because of
Okay,
that,
so because
Afro.
this is
I'm
about
not
this
saying
ain't
that. I'm
about the
telling
history.
you.
Sorry, this
I'm
isn't
telling.
about the history of California. So
I'm
are you
sep-
saying that people who enter into the country illegally should they be deported? Yes or no?
Yes, that is correct. That's
Okay,
what I'm
well, thank
saying.
you. So, so we can agree on that at least. Thank you.
Yes, yeah,
All
because I'm
right.
not against that. I'm just saying it's only the same 5 million
Hey, Afro, I want to
undocumented
address
that
him
come
on
and go.
something. So can you
yeah,
stay
I
That's
for a
enough.
just
We
want to
second?
heard
say
it. We heard
something
it.
quick. I really been waiting. Like I
I
want to
want to
say.
address him for a
Other
second.
people
Can
that
I?
have been waiting before you, love me. Princess has been waiting.
For a long time, and that's
Marlene has
fine.
been
It's
waiting.
fine.
You just got up here.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
I know, I know. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
so I need
everybody.
you to please mute. Go ahead,
No, it's
Princess.
fine. If she wants to make her, point come across, it's fine.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
please.
It's
I'm a
fine.
nurse and I need to be to work by like 5 o'clock, and I got like only 1 hour to
Okay,
sleep.
go ahead. Yes.
I
What's
just
your
wanted
reason
to
and purpose,
say,
sir?
I just quickly want to say this. Every one of us who come here as immigrant, we ride on the sweat and blood of the Black Americans. Nobody have any Fourth Amendment rights to come here to claim anything. I'm an immigrant from Liberia, and I was so pissed in the comment section when one brother was saying, "Oh, it is difficult to get visa to come to the U.S." That's not true. If you present the right documentation, you will get your visa to come to the United States. Even if you come here on a visiting visa and you extend your visa like 1 or 2 times, you can apply for adjustments of status and you will be allowed. Now, the brother out here trying to claim, oh, because California used to be Mexico. So you now telling us that the entire Africa should move to the United States because our black brothers and sisters were brought here unwillingly. They had it in chains and they brought them here. And they suffered. They were on a cutting farm. They laid down their life. So you saying because that was done, so the entire Africa should just pack our bags and move over here? Or should Spain come back to California and claim it back? This is nonsense. And let me say that I'm proud of you, young man. I'm really proud. I'm 54. I'm proud of you for what you're doing. And I'm really proud that the Black Americans are getting to stand up for their country. Listen, you cannot leave the United States and go to where I am. Liberia is a country that was established by free slaves that left here after the end of slavery, went there and settled. So we have a constitution that says only Negro descent can become citizen. But even at that point, you cannot leave from here today and go to Liberia and then just roam around and think you have every right. It's never going to happen. I came to this country like 2.5 years ago. I get angry every time to my job. I see the way the Mexican treat the Black American. I'm always standing up for them. When you go look for job, they will put the Hispanic group one side. They will put the Black group one side. It is complete nonsense. Nobody built this country more than the Black people. The Black people suffered. They suffered. They were in chain when they were building the street, the cities of this country. And for anybody to come in this country and think that you have a right, you didn't have no damn right. It's a privilege given to every one of us. The only people that have the right, it is the Black American and the Native, period. And so far, you people are not the only people being deported. Everybody is being deported. Not only Mexico. You ain't see no Africans standing up and trying to burn American flag. A lot of Africans are self-deporting themselves because they understand that it is an opportunity to be here. It's not a right. And so that nonsense of you Mexican claiming that you love, you must become a citizen. I bet you I'm supposed to be somebody married to an immigration officer. You will see. When you get at the border, there is a border entrance. Do you go to the border to seek asylum? Do you? Somebody talking about due process. Due process is not for people that broke the law. Due process is for somebody who went to the border, seek asylum to the border, went through the case process, and they were given a date to appear in court and they did not go. And if you get on the removal, then you should be given the opportunity to explain why you didn't go for your case hearing. Not somebody that broke the law and invaded the United States, and you come in here, you invade these people's country. America gave a lot of opportunity. I'm not supporting the U.S. government, what the government do outside, but I'm talking about the American people. That is the only country in the planet that you can come in the country as an illegal and still get opportunity to get medical care. When you have the common American suffering, sleeping on the street, being unalive from fentanyl, and you come here and you make money off their back. Let me tell you something. People say, oh, when they go there, there's going to be no job, there's going to be no employee. That's not true. Who used to do the job before you came here? When the Black Americans were being unalive in this country, did you Mexico come over here to fight for them? The Venezuela, all this country, did you cross? Did you come in here to say the unaliving our Black brothers who go in there? You did not. They fought for it. They sweat for it. And that's what I get pissed when I see my Black brothers being used. Go protest, go protest. No, if these lawmakers love you, let them put laws on the books that you can benefit. Let them put laws on the books that you can benefit. Look at all the jobs. The Hispanics already took almost all the job. When a Black person go to get the job, they don't want to give it. When a Black American go to apply for loan, they don't want to give him the loan. What sort of nonsense is that? And you come here, you want to claim right? You ain't got no damn right in the country. This country belongs to the Black American and the white American, whoever is the generation that been here. And this idea that they're trying to brainwash Black American, telling you people, oh, when they deport people, they're gonna unalive people. Oh, they're coming after you. They ain't come after them since the end of slavery. They've been here. They've been here since the end of slavery. They've been here. Obama deported people. Every other government that come do deportation. And I want to say to the Black American, now is your time. Stand up for your country. You have every equal right like the white team. Stand up to it. And believe me, when you stand up to the kings, the respect will be given to you and you will have a seat at the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, and I
All
want
right,
to say
thank
something.
you.
In the chat room,
Thank you.
it's a lot of y'all spewing a whole bunch of anti-Black rhetoric, mocking slavery. And I hope you guys understand that that perfectly reflects the, quote, Black and Brown coalition. Because I'm not saying anything disparaging about your culture. I'm not saying anything disparaging about your people or their history. I'm speaking about the law and the way the law should be applied. That is what I'm speaking about. And every time somebody comes up here, I say, okay, well, what do you think the law should be? And they start getting into, well, I feel, and it's not right morally, in my opinion. I'm talking about the law. Y'all down there mocking slavery. Okay, well, that's a perfect reflection of this Black and Brown coalition, huh? I think so. I think that's a good reflection of the Black and Brown coalition you guys claim we have so much that Donald Trump all of a sudden destroyed.
You know, it's so funny because everybody in different demographics is so used to us being the underdog. And you know what they say about the underdog? Like the phoenix, they always rise. Nobody expected us to be who we are. And we are standing up for our people. We're just doing it sitting down because we're not doing their work. They're having to fit they're now seeing what it is that we and our people have had to go through for generations after generations. They didn't send one lowrider to come pick our ass up. They didn't send one lowrider or whatever it is that they drive to come over and help us out. They didn't swim not one damn river but to save themselves. So, yes, we are standing up. We're standing up by sitting our asses down, minding our business, gatekeeping our shit, and working within our demographic. We're sweeping in front of our doorsteps now. So we're going to
1805,
do that.
1905. I'm sorry, 1905, and this is exactly what they wanted out of us. And when I say what they wanted out of us, blacks, is they wanted us to show up and act stupid. They wanted us to get out of character. That's what they want. And see, we're not giving that to them. And then it looks like, okay, well, I guess they're behaving now because we were always said to be the animals. We were always said to be the pigs. You understand? So again, I heard a few, I think Mexicans, a few Latinos, let's put it like that, saying, oh, you guys are horrible. And this, we're not horrible people. We're very loving. Had you guys would have said, okay, let's make it a human race issue, I guarantee we would have been at the front lines. But see, when you want us to stand up for just one race, we're not doing that because we had not one of you guys, not any other race stand up for us when we had to go through our issues, where we were getting hung and we were getting, till this day, we still have to battle. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to stop. It doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. So for you guys to just say, oh, well, now Mexicans are, they're being thrown like animals and they're being deported. You need our help. That's not going to work. So no, we do not have to help, and we shouldn't have to help. That's one. And for two, there was a guy who came up here and said something about the California, some crap he was saying, son and stuff like that. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. I am American, Black American. I don't want to say African because that's what that's what we were told. I don't know anywhere else other than America. So that the schools taught us that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know history. I don't want to know history. What I know is America. I'm born here. I've been here all my life. I know nothing else. So I'm just Black American. With that being said, my father's Haitian. My mother's Black American too. My father's an immigrant. So with that being said, this immigration that's here now, the laws has always been there. Let's get that straight, okay? America right now is dealing with a whole bunch of crises. They're trying to get their country in order. They're trying to get things going again. And one of those, what the main issue that they have to tackle is immigration. In order to even get things at least 2% in place, they have to make these changes. And if you guys fall into that, that's that. Okay? So it's not just Mexicans that are being deported. Immigrants in general, okay? So I don't want them to say, oh, it's just us, and they expect us to get up there and fight and all this and all that. Because at the end of the day, us blacks are going to have to pay for it. We're going to be held accountable. We're going to be the ones thrown in the jail. We're going to be the ones that are, locked up, no bond. We have to deal with that, not you guys. You guys are going to get house arrest, braces on your foot, blah, 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 all this and all that. We have to deal with it. So no. Stop making it a race issue. It's an immigration issue. You guys need to return voluntarily to your homes, to your countries, and try to apply and get back the legal way. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Now, I'm not just going after Mexicans. I'm going after immigrants in general. Okay? Like I said, my father's Haitian. He was lucky. I mean, the process isn't that hard, like the guy said. It depends. It's a lottery. You will get called. My family, my father's family, Haitian again, they were able to get here like easily back in the 79s, 80s, I guess. And don't get me wrong, at the time, the president was racist. I think it was Ronald Reagan, Nixon, and all that. So they had racist presidents back then. And, it depends how the country is, how the country's running, because they're not just going to let you here and then you're going to be getting all the benefits and this and that when their country can't even take care of their normal citizens. So no, take your ass back home. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to be harsh. Come here the right way. Even when you were here without papers and y'all was getting money, you should have got your country fixed. Should have did that. Should have sent some stuff back home. Should have made plans. You are not here to stay. Period. Especially if you're illegal. That's not going to work. Let us get our country back together. Period. That's all I want to say. This is not a race issue. It's an immigration issue. Do it the legal way, and hopefully you'll be able to come back. Thank you.
I want to say
Him,
thank you for the
1
opportunity. I'm
minute.
about to go. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity so much, and I appreciate all of you that are, out here advocating. Keep doing what you're doing. That guy was talking about the issue in Minnesota. If you look at it technically, you can say they unalived that lady because she supported the Trump bill. She was the only Democrat who voted for that bill, supporting the Republican. So if you look at it technically, because right after she cast the ballot, she came out, she had a press conference, and she broke down in tears while she was having the press conference. She said, I know a lot of people, a lot of them gonna come after me, but I did what was right. I stood up for the American people. So Democrats stop passing out here and Trump ain't doing anything wrong. He just love his country and he's doing what's best for his people. If you still want love America, get out peacefully and come through the right way. There are a lot of people who came here through the right way. They have fought for their wife, they have fought for their children. They cannot come because of illegal migrant. Thank you. God bless America.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
I
This
want to
is
say
it's
this.
almost 3:30, so
I'm
we're gonna
sorry.
have to be quick. But go ahead, BX.
Okay, so there's a lot of questions as to Princess because she stated that her mom is Black American and her father is Haitian. So the technical term for that would be she's bi-ethnic. Obviously, she aligns with her Black American side. She is aware that there is issues regarding the community and how even people of her father's background can be problematic to the Black American community. And she
Absolutely.
makes the right, and she makes the distinction that it's not race based. It's an immigration issue, and there is a thing, an organization called Black Americans for Immigration Reform. They are actually against illegal immigration and think that immigration needs to be reformed, and that's all that we're saying. So she can go either or. She can say, well, I'm Haitian American. This is what I see from my Haitian side. Or I'm bi-ethnic and I align with my mom's side. So she has the right. She can even identify as a foundational Black American if her mom descends from U.S. chattel slavery. So she's not just Haitian. She's bi-ethnic. And she's being honest what she sees from both sides. That's all. So you don't have to call her history into question because she was honest. She wasn't up here trying to hide anything from anybody
I
about her
want to thank you
heritage.
for clarifying that, but I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't, and I shouldn't, because I know who I am and I know where I come from and what I represent. So I wouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to clarify anything. But thank you, sis. I appreciate it.
All right.
You're
Yeah, we're gonna
welcome.
be. It's almost 3:30 where I am, and I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. So we're gonna be quick, and get to the hands. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try to interject as little as possible. I think the next person who was here was uh, Marlena. Marlena.
Martin, yeah, and then Chan, I believe.
Yes, yes, I'm here. I just want to thank you for allowing me to come up. I'm gonna be quick.
And your race
Um,
and ethnicity, real quick.
yes, I'm Black
And
American.
and the reason why we ask that is because that helps us for the audience because there's over 600 people in the room. That very much so helps us put your perspective into context because most of the people who said that they're not from our lineage, they have a lot of sympathy where they're trying to make this a moral issue or a humanitarian issue. Most of these people who come from immigrant backgrounds are trying to make this a moral issue, not all but most. And then when you have actual foundational Black Americans, we're looking at the law and logic, and we're not allowing our feelings to lead and guide our judgment. Do you understand? So that's why we're asking, because it helps us put this into context. All right.
Yes,
So you can continue.
yes. I just wanted to say, I don't agree with people making the Black community feel bad or guilty for not choosing to be a part of any of the protests. I've been seeing a lot of the different things on social media and just the different conversations. And me personally, like my husband and I, we're choosing not to participate in the protest, but it doesn't mean that we don't care about what's going on. It doesn't mean that we, agree or don't agree with the whole process of what's going on, but it's just not fair to make people feel guilty or feel like they don't care or they don't have any compassion for another group of people or the immigrants just because they're choosing to sit down and to not be a part of any of the protests. People might have other ways that they're trying to help if they choose to help, but however a person chooses to, whatever they choose to decide, because we all have a free will in what we choose to do, it should not be made that these people should not be made to feel guilty or bad for choosing to sit down and to not be a part, or made to feel like they don't care. The other thing is, the only issue that I have with the illegal immigration is when President Biden was in office and people were just crossing the borders. I remember following the city of Chicago, and there were citizens of Chicago who had a real issue with it because it was people that were coming illegally and were getting all the resources, but the people that were actually in the community were not given the resources. Or it was a young lady, it was a mother who had been applying for to get housing, and she kept getting denied housing for her and her children. But then when the whole influx of immigrants were coming in, and Chicago was a sanctuary city, they were seeing all of these. It was an apartment complex that the owner owned. It was closed down where they opened it up to house immigrants, but there were people that were living in that community for years, and they were denied housing. They didn't want to open up. The owner of the apartment complex didn't want to open up the apartment complex, kept it closed, and there were people in the community that needed housing. But as soon as the influx of immigrants came over, the owner of that apartment complex decided to open up the apartment complex for housing for immigrants,
Yep.
which I don't have a problem with people being here, but I just feel like if you're going to give resources, distribute the resources, make it fair for everyone, because there were people so angry that lived in that community and they were not able to get resources. But then here comes people coming here illegally, and they're given all of these resources, given housing, giving, just like another lady had spoke about it earlier in the conversation. They were given resources, and then you have people here that are here from here or here legally or whatever the case may be. They were not, given these resources. They were told that they couldn't, or they were denied. There are people who are homeless. There's even veterans who are not receiving resources, and they fought to serve this country. I mean, personally, my husband is a veteran, and it took him a long time before he received what he was owed for serving in the military. And so, it's so many different reasons why people are choosing to sit back. I just think that, the resources thing is what I'm all about here. I think that the resources need to be equally distributed. And I also feel like the issues of the Black community are always pushed to the back burner. It's like our ancestors have fought and died and went through hell so that we can benefit off of what they fought for. And it's like what they fought for, the resources are there for other communities, but when it comes to the Black community, the resources are not there for us. Yes, we may get some, but our issues are always put to the back, and we're such a
Always.
passionate people. We're always helping and doing all that we can for others, because that's just the people we are. But it's like our issues are always pushed to the back, and that's basically all I want to say. that's probably some of the reasons why some people choose to sit back. And it doesn't mean that we don't care. You know, me personally, I see what's going on, and I'm not a person that doesn't care. It's just everyone has their different reasons for choosing to do what they choose to do, and it's not fair for people to make you feel guilty or feel like they don't care or have compassion or don't see what's going on.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
that's all I have to say.
Thank you. And I appreciate your patience. I know you've been waiting for a very, very long time to speak. Very long time to speak. But that's true. All right. And what she's saying about Chicago is very true. But I don't want to spend too much time on that. BX, you said who was next?
Chan.
Shan. Okay. Sister, you got it. What's your race and ethnicity, please?
Hey, good evening. Good morning. My race, according to genealogy, I'm an American Indian. However, my brother said according to DNA, we have some sort of Sierra Leone in there. So American, African American, doesn't matter which order you put it in.
Okay.
Um,
All
but
right, you got it. Okay, you got it.
yeah, I just want to say, two wrongs don't make a right. I don't think the way that ICE is handling people is right. However, I don't believe that the people coming over here illegally is is right, and just kind of demanding to stay here, because on one hand you want to say, oh, it's too hard to follow the rules to get in, and then once you get here and be like, well, really, y'all got your rules saying that y'all can't deport me this way, so you can't really like pick and choose which rules you want to follow. It's like those religious people who only, follow the rules in the Bible that they want to follow. It's like, are you gonna get into heaven? I don't know. That's another story for another day. But I just find that whole situation funny, because you want to say, hey, I'm not gonna follow this rule, but you should follow that rule. And also, it's just like a boundary. I don't think it's fair, because if we were in like the dating scene, and I had a boundary, and it's like, oh, I don't kiss on the first date or whatever, and because they got this whole excuse, oh, we work hard. I'm not saying to you that you don't, or that you're a bad person, but it's just my personal boundary. I don't want to kiss you. I'm not saying you're a terrible person, but it's just a rule that I have personally. So that's all I want to say. I'm gonna keep it short.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, I mean, I guess you now, as far as the way you don't like ISIS handling it, what specifically about the way ICE is going about it do you dislike?
Oh, I just seen this one video of them trying to pull some man out of a car. Um, you know, literally trying to pull him out of the car. That is just dangerous. They could have got hurt. He could have got hurt. Yeah.
So you feel
That
like they're being too aggressive?
a little bit.
Okay, but otherwise, you do feel like they don't have the right to just immigrate past the law. They don't have the right to bypass.
Absolutely not. It's a rule. You have to follow it.
Okay, all right then.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna deny the fact that they are being aggressive. I will say though, like if because I've seen so many videos of the second ICE pulls up, people running away and escaping and all of that stuff. I don't condone any type of abuse or brutality, so I'm not gonna sit up here and condone that. But the general principle is ICE does have a job to do, and their job is to make sure that people who are not supposed to be in the country leave the country. And I'm going to say that that is a job that they need to be doing. You know, now there are some cases where, yeah, they can be a little bit rougher than need to be. And then there are other cases where the people are literally trying to escape. To be honest, I have not seen too many videos. I've seen a couple, but I ain't seen too many videos of ICE just unnecessarily beating people with, not like the police do to black folk. I ain't seen
Right.
nothing like that.
I
That
haven't seen
part.
anything on that
Or
caliber
killing them.
either.
Yeah, I ain't seen firing at people, opening firing at people while they running away. I ain't
Right.
seen one
I ain't
case
saw
of
nothing.
ICE
Right.
doing none of that. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you know, y'all getting a slight taste of
That's
what Black
apples
America
and
is already
oranges.
doing. So let's not
Still
let's
ain't
not do
got the
that.
full experience.
No, not
Exactly.
even
It's
here.
nothing on that caliber. No, I didn't mean to say it. I'm
No,
not
I know
comparing
what
the
you
two
mean. I
at
know
all.
what you mean. And I understand where people are sympathetic. I understand that. But as long as we can acknowledge the fact that there are rules and there are laws, and that we're not going to allow our heartstrings to control how we follow the law. We're not going to sit up there and be all like, well, yeah, I have so much sympathy, so I'm just going to allow you this exception to immigration. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, we don't want you beat up, but you can self-deport. That's all we're saying, is
Hmm.
that every single last one of them, and somebody's all like, according to due process, there's supposed to be warnings. Trump has given several warnings. Several. Trump and Tom Homan has given several warnings for anybody who is not here legally to self-deport. They are here and they're thinking that they can avoid ICE. So at this point, they're trying to avoid the government. They've been warned. Not a single one of them like, damn, I didn't know y'all was on this. All of them know that. And they've been knowing that since they got here, that if they get caught up by ICE, they're going to get deported. So they've been warned. They know they have the right to self-deport. They're not doing that. So if it was up to me and you got millions of people who ain't supposed to be here, hey, you got to get them out as quick as possible. That's how I look at it. Um, I think who was next? Was it royalty and revenge? That's it.
Thank you for having me up. First of all, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Um, there's a few things that I want to address. The first thing that I want to point
Please
out.
state your race and ethnicity, please, Sesame, real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Black or African American.
All right.
Um, yes, so there's a few things that I wanted to address. So in the comments, there's a lot of Hispanic people saying a lot of racial. It's wild. And this is exactly why Black people are choosing, because you're literally manifesting what we've been seeing for decades, for years. Like, y'all really don't like us. Y'all only like us when it's to y'all benefit. And then the comments are even showing that you're not even trying. I mean, y'all not even trying to hide it at this point because you're upset that we don't agree with you. I personally feel from my own, I can't speak from anybody else's personal experiences. From my personal experiences, I grew up on the West Coast, and it's they really don't like us. You don't see any Black people working in any of their establishments. They profile us. It's horrible. I grew up with a Hispanic homegirl, and she's like a best friend to me. However, her stepmother was the most racist person you could ever meet. Like, she literally would say racist stuff about us in Spanish. And so it was horrible. But her stepmother was more of the side of what we dealt with dealing with Hispanic people. And then I just don't like how they're trying to compare, oh well, the your ancestors did this and it has nothing, it has everything. Don't try to erase our history. Our ancestors have everything to do with us. We're a part of them. We may have not directly dealt with the struggles that they dealt with firsthand, but we still are fighting to get rid of a lot of stereotypes and struggles that we deal with daily, that is the consequences of what happened to them. So that's BS. And then with the guy that was up here talking about, oh, how the Hispanic people fought for to free the slaves. That's BS. Y'all don't fall for that. Let me tell y'all this. Y'all have to remember there's two sides to every story. Yes, they did go and fight in the Civil War, but nobody's mentioning how they were getting other things for fighting in the Civil War. It was not just about freeing the slaves. If they went and fought in the war, that helped them gain citizenship as well. So it wasn't like, oh, we're just coming out to help because we really care so much. Because why did y'all wait until people started a revolution to stop this? If you really cared, why didn't y'all start before then? You don't hear about them helping when the with Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. Like, I don't know. It's just so much to say to that. Like, I don't care. The reality is, a lot of them, you're breaking the law, first of all. And none of us are above the law, period. And that's just the reality. You're here illegally. The lady came up here and she's an immigrant herself and she explained it very clear. I don't understand why it's not simple. You can't go to any other country and say, I'm going to come over here and live here and your government is going to do this and do that and do that, and you're not going to tell me to go home. And if you do try to force me out of your country, I'm at that point going to protest you enforcing your law. That's literally crazy. Like, I don't understand the logic with that. And somebody else was on the panel. I don't know if she's still up here, but she made some good points too that I agree with. At the end of the day, like, the resources that they're taking from the communities is it's wild. And I'm not saying it because I'm blessed to not need government assistance. But there are people that really need it and they're being denied or put on these long waiting lists where they're not being helped. And they're saying, oh well, how are they getting these benefits if they're illegal? Ask them that because they're definitely getting them.
They are.
New York.
The Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, admitted that. He testified in front of Congress, and I know I
Yeah.
was there. He testified in front of Congress. Yeah, they've been getting a whole bunch of benefits as far as
Yeah.
food, as far as health care, as far as
Yeah.
housing, as far he testified. This is a Democratic mayor of the biggest city in America testifying that billions of dollars in taxpayer money from New York has been spent specifically on them. So all of
Hmm.
this, they're not getting anything. Yes, they are. And
Yes, they
and
are.
all of the mayors and governors are admitting that they are. Y'all making these laws, the people are admitting that they're giving you this stuff.
They was getting $1,000 in food stamps.
Yep.
We
I was
working
just about to
citizens
say
can't
that
even
because
get
I
that
live in New York
much.
City.
And something else I want to point out too. I don't know if this has clicked with anyone else, but a lot of them identify as white. And I brought this point up
Yep.
because
Yes, that
I
was a
seen
point I was going to
somebody's
bring
comment
up.
in the chat saying, well, black people are the most on government assistance. That's a lie. And it's literally, if you bring up the statistics, it's showing that white people
We know that.
are getting way
We
more
don't get
government
welfare
assistance
like
than
that.
African American people are. However, putting it into perspective, thinking about it now, they identify as white. So that would make
And he
sense.
said it up here. He said he's Mexican Latino, but he identified as white, and I hear that all the time.
And then they need to stop bringing up MLK in the comments because what y'all don't even understand, y'all didn't even like the MLK. Let's be clear. Y'all, if y'all don't like us, y'all damn sure didn't like MLK. And then for those who know MLK history, baby, MLK was getting ready to roll over and join up with Malcolm X because he
Yep.
was sick of y'all bullshit too. See, that's what y'all
Yeah,
don't
at the end
understand.
of his speeches, I mean, before he like towards the end, before he passed away, and I believe this is a reason why what they did, assassinated him. He said that he led his people into a burning bridge.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that speaks a lot.
See, back in the
Mhm.
day, and then after that, I'm gonna drop. Back in the day, like early, like late '90s, well, yeah, early 2000s, right? When you filled out a food stamp application, it told you to list all the children or whoever you have in your house, and they used to give, if you have children, they used to have up to 6 spaces for those who had more than one kids here in the state
Mhm.
of Texas. Do you know that now you can't even claim that many children?
Nope.
Why?
And they finna
Because
stop
they
the
hold on.
age
Because
difference
they
too.
caught on to they asses. Y'all come here. Y'all, since y'all work so hard, yeah, y'all work hard to have all them damn babies. That's why y'all fucking women built like
You know
Michelin
what?
characters, and y'all motherfucking asses is
Wait,
and your
wait,
women is.
wait.
But
Before you
Uh
go there,
huh.
let me say this about MLK and his wife Coretta. So MLK was actually opposed to open borders. He says that it harmed the Negro community and the poor white people here. And if you don't believe that, you can go to Coretta Scott King's letter to Senator Hatch. I believe it was 1986 or 1989, where she was against a removal of a certain sanction that would have allowed immigration to continue, unchecked. Meanwhile, it would exploit the Latino population and it would substantiate discrimination against Black Americans. Plus, it would drive the wages down, and we had about 7 million unemployed at that time. Give them a skill, give them a trade, put them to work. They did not like open border system. So when you're bringing up MLK and stuff, you got to research them. Past, I have a dream. You got to
Exactly.
research them.
Hmm.
And then
Also,
also,
research. I'm a land. Also, research. My MLK talked about two Americas. One being for the white team, one being for the Black Americans. In that writing, which I like to say, all we do is loot and all of this. He said that was the voices of the unheard. With the people doing in LA, I don't think that fits the category. I think they're being selfish, and there are ways to address what you want without tearing up the streets. I
exactly.
land
And
there.
not blame
Yeah, but
black
we do
people for
got it. We
being
got
we not even out there.
12
Then
o'clock, so we do
also,
gotta start rapping. I'm gonna let you land royalty, and then we're gonna move on.
okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say this too. Like, y'all, for y'all that's saying, oh, y'all next, y'all are full of BS. First of all, they don't like y'all, but they hate us a lot worse than they hate y'all. So let me tell you, if they really could get rid of us, we would have been gone before this even happened and popped off with the illegal other immigrants. Trust me, they don't like us a lot more than I mean, they hate us a lot more than they dislike y'all. So if they could have got rid of us, they would have found a way to do it already.
And where the
So
hell we gonna go?
They keep saying we next. We've been first, and we still
We
going
still
through.
is
We still going through it. Ain't nothing
Fun
stopped
fact.
for us. What
every
you talking
day.
So
We
about?
you
go to
want to
the
know
grocery
what's
store.
fun? The fun
So
fact
that's
is
the
we didn't
privilege they
even
have.
ask to be here. They came and took
Right.
us. Y'all swimming, crossing rivers. They done built walls for y'all ass. Y'all still building fucking
We don't even
ladders.
own our last
We
name.
never asked to be here.
Let's
Y'all
move.
fighting to
Right.
be
So
where we
this
don't want
We're
to
gonna
be.
have to.
Can I
We're
just
gonna.
say something about
This is
when
the
you saying
We
something
are
privilege.
gonna
One
about
have to
moment,
move
I'm a
on.
land Chan. This is the privilege they have to not see what we've been going through because they think this is the first time something of this magnitude has been happening. This is that privilege. This is that entitlement. And now they want to say they're coming for you next. But had they been aware all this time, they realized we were first.
We was already at. We was
I
tagged
think.
you in.
Yeah. Let me see. Four. You
Oh, it's
For a
official.
cute
for
size.
eight?
Hey
You
y'all.
for? Are you for A for real?
I am in real life.
Okay, cool.
And I'm black.
Cute size
And
for
I'm
a cute
from
size. That's. I like the way that you match your height to you made a cool name out your height. That's creative. I like that.
yes, I'm black. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So I experience a lot of racism. But I do want to piggy up on everything y'all said. And I'm making short and sweet. Boom. So I lived in Colorado. I was racially profiled by a Mexican owner in Popeyes. And she was giving my hours to the young Mexican worker. She would have me clock out and everything. And I had to report her to corporate. And then her general manager came in telling her in Spanish, like, don't mess up what we got going because of your hate towards her. I end up having to use a translator to understand what they were saying. So I had my first encounter with it personally. Um, the second thing is I've seen even groups of them having a talking group like this, and they're constantly keep trying to force us out there. Okay, why y'all not forcing the Asians to shut down their nail shops and the beauty supply stores, the Arab shutting down their gas stations to come help y'all out? Why y'all calling on us? We've been whipped enough. We go through whipping every day stepping out our houses. We're scared. You know, just the black man period being pulled over by a cop. I got pulled over. I don't get pulled over as much, but when I got pulled over, I told him, I said, "Sir, I got my hands on the wheel. What do you need me to get?" And he was like, "Man, what's going on?" I said, "Y'all shoot people. Y'all shoot people like me. They don't have to deal with that." And like he said, the Latino Mexican guy said, he identifies white. We can't identify as white unless we lie on our resume and trying to get a job, but we can't identify as white. But they can, and they have. And I work in a place where this is not the first time I've heard that they identify as white. And I have family in Chicago where they did not get those resources that was given to the immigrants because that was not guaranteed money. They had these people in luxury hotels and feeding them and clothing them and everything, but we're paying taxes and we can't even get shit. You get what I'm saying? We struggling. So it's just like, even if you go to UK, somebody said in the comments, you go to UK, you can't, or you go to Canada, you can't just go and say, hey, like, I'm staying here and y'all gonna have to deal with this shit. No, y'all gotta go through the proper process. Unfortunately, we didn't get that choice to go through no proper process. We were forced over here. We don't even own, like I said, we don't even own our last names. The white people that have our last names, their ancestors and ancestors own us and named us. You know, so that's all I gotta say. And I appreciate you guys opening this floor up because I've seen them have so many rooms and tearing us down and beating us up for not being out there. I'm not doing shit. I fought at the goddamn poll where y'all should have been fighting, but y'all was cha-chaing to Trump. Then that's what the fuck y'all gonna deal with. Good night.
You have a good one. You have a good one. We'll get you. Let me see. In the order, we'll get to official,
That's my. Oh,
then Mike, and then we'll get to real Queen Key.
Okay, cool. I'm black, like black. Everybody I know, as far as I could go, they black. So I'm black.
The Black American.
Yeah, Black American. There we go. Yeah. So I would like to say to because I know it's more than just Mexicans getting deported, but I want to speak to the community who's making the most outrage, which is them. Y'all are the most ill-prepared group of people I've ever seen. And when I say this, I'm saying Obama deported thousands of y'all in his term. Trump came in, first thing he do is start building a wall. Y'all had an ample amount of years for some type of alarm to go off in your head and say, hey, let's stop this from happening to us. There's a such thing as immigration reform. Y'all didn't do none of that type of stuff. There's no communities. Y'all have no organizations backing y'all. Y'all just going off hopes and dreams in a country like America is insane to me. How they treat us was prime example. Y'all played yourself. Y'all allowed America to disable y'all. Every time I see a white person talk to a Mexican person, they speak to them very slow, like almost as if they're dumb. Everybody treats y'all the same way as if y'all are some type of incompetent. And y'all allowed this country to disable y'all. And y'all accepted it, and now look where y'all are at, begging for help. No! Y'all had too much time to help yourselves. So it's just like, it don't make no sense why you ask for help. And then you ask for help to do something that's illegal. Why would I back you? And our laws say what they say. Why would I back you? And you knew that these were the laws. This is not the first year that people have been deported. Let's wake up. So it's just like y'all did this to yourself. If the crisis is because of y'all and y'all community, it's just y'all are very ill prepared and y'all just suck in general. That's all.
Hey, honestly, it is just, and that's why I keep asking. Like, if you guys were the president and you guys ran the country, not Donald Trump, if you guys ran a country, what would you do? None of them are making a genuine argument that they would do anything different from what is going on right now. All of them who are coming here illegally, every single last one of them, no, they're coming here illegally. They're all trying to avoid the government. They're all skipping past their court date, which is what the big problem is, them claiming asylum and then hiding in the country, or them overstaying their visa and then hiding in the country. This has been going on for generations. Obama has acknowledged it, and that's why he deported so many people. All of the presidents, Bush has acknowledged it. Biden did, even though Biden opened the gates, and Trump has acknowledged it. They've all acknowledged it. So when people talking about Trump is dividing us, no, this has been a problem. And this is a very unique American problem because America is the only country that has the 14th Amendment. And because of that, that's allowed a lot of immigrants, not only Mexicans, but mainly, to come in and exploit that. Just like how he just said, well, if we come in, we can just use the 14th Amendment to kind of stay in here. And it's allowed you guys to be grounded in a country that you guys legally are not supposed to be in. And now that stuff is getting changed. You guys are acting like this is some type of immoral persecution that you guys are going through, and it's not. And you're not going to convince anybody that it is. But Mike, you got it. Your race and ethnicity, sir?
Yeah, I'm black. I'm from Northern California. Um, I'm not here to add no fuel to the fire because, to be honest with you, in Northern California, black and Hispanics, Asians, we all get along. We all cool, man. So it's a different culture. But if you're talking about Southern California, if you're from Southern California, you probably already know. If you're Hispanic, a lot of the time they don't even get along. Norteños and Sureños, the younger generation, they don't get along. The Paisas are all usually pretty cool. But what I will say is it's not a black versus Hispanic thing. And I'm not gonna talk down to y'all, but you do have to realize that the issue is not it has nothing to do with how black people feel. We all feel differently. Some of us support what's going on, some of us don't. But it was you guys, it was the Hispanic community who voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump, in especially in Texas, but even in California. And so you guys have an issue within your culture that has to be dealt with, you know? And so I see some comments and they're saying, oh, you guys are being racist, but you got to realize this. I'm going to just say this one thing about the racism thing. You guys, you guys created a word for black people, and it's mayate. So just think about that. You guys created a word, a racist word for us. What word did we create for y'all? What racist word did we create for y'all? We didn't. We never thought of y'all like that. So y'all started this shit. If you ever feel racism, you got to realize that y'all started it. Especially, I've been in Southern California. I know what it's like. It's way different than the Hispanics in Northern California. We all brothers out there. But in
Mm.
Southern California, y'all calling us mayates. And you talking shit either to us or behind our backs.
What does that mean?
I don't, I don't even know what it means. It probably means, they can tell you, it probably means Nigger. So they know what it means. But my point is, we didn't make up any racist term for y'all.
That's exactly what it means. I told y'all my best friend, her stepmom was a racist Hispanic lady.
And
Mm.
so it's I don't want to say traditional, but it didn't just start recently. It's been a thing for years. And I realize that the younger generation might be growing out of it. But overall, if if y'all really want like to some peace, it's got to start with y'all. If y'all want peace between black and brown, it's got to start with y'all. But this is not our issue. So people are just expressing how they feel. Some of us actually support what y'all got going on. Others don't. But as a culture, we were never racist towards y'all.
It's accountability for me. Like you said, like they create a word and treat us a certain way and then cry wolf and want us out there. Like I've been seeing videos on TikTok and stuff where, the Asian community said, hell no, I'm not going out there. Um, but they want us to come out there and support them. But we getting blamed for being out there for the looting and not being peaceful, and we're not even out there.
Yep.
If
But
we
The
because
take our
reality,
black asses
let
out
Cannot,
there,
one
they're gonna
minute, y'all.
incite
One
more
minute,
trouble.
one minute.
everybody cannot do that,
Afro,
huh?
Afro. I understand. So I believe everybody has spoken except for real. So
Yeah.
after her, there's 11 in the box, but can we put a pin in it after her and start wrapping, winding it up
Actually, yeah,
with
after her,
final
I was
thoughts?
gonna say we because the thing is, people just gonna keep coming. People
Right.
just gonna keep coming, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
I know you
I'm
look
not gonna
out.
be up here till the sun rises, cause I mean it's not gonna end. We've been on here since for like what 5 hours almost, like at least.
5 hours?
Yeah, we've been on here for a long
Oh
time.
my god.
Afro, you
Yeah,
said we
just
wasn't gonna be up here
12.
long,
I
but look what
know,
happened.
I know, I said it. I know, I said that. Oh my God, I know it.
I
But
thank
we
y'all
I'm
for
gonna
love
let it
letting
be
me
you,
up
That's
here.
why
I'm
I
Afro.
gonna
said
let
a
somebody else come
pen.
up if that's the
Look at
case.
how many people
No,
you
we ain't
have in the
letting nobody
room.
else up. We're not.
Yeah,
We,
you
Oh,
can't be
I'm at
doing
1 minute, y'all. 1 minute. I was asking Afro if we could put a pin in it and on his next available date, revisit this topic. So it'll be like a part two, Afro.
that.
Are you
Okay,
cool
yeah,
with
we can
that?
do that.
Okay.
No, no,
All right,
y'all never
y'all.
gonna believe me. I say I'm gonna be on here. That's it. I can't believe
five
it.
hours? Oh my god.
Yeah, we've been on here about that long, if not longer. Yeah, we've
Wow.
been on here for a minute now. If you
Well, I
guys
thank
have
y'all.
anything, y'all
I
can
hope
go to
y'all
the
get
For
some
the Culture
sleep
channel on
now.
YouTube. You can go to For the Culture on YouTube, and that's where I put the playbacks to this. And
Okay, I'm gonna follow you now.
well, thank you. You have a good one.
All right, good
All
night,
right,
night.
Good
you too.
night. Good
Real
night.
quick.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
How you
Hello.
doing?
I'd like to thank you, the host. I didn't realize you guys were on so long. I just happened to catch your live. Thank you, Afro, for providing the space. And I'd like to thank everyone that's on the panel and those that are in the comments. I just wanted to take this time to say that I look at this perspective from two different things. I am African American born and Indigenous American born here in the United States of America. Therefore, that my ancestors come from indigenous, Indians that were here, and also African American slaves that were brought here.
Mhm.
I also wanted to state that due to the fact that I am part of the 92%, I did vote for Kamala Harris, and I thought that our allies were going to come along with us and vote. They did not. I was very disappointed with the vote. I was very, very disappointed with the POC, which is the people of color. So I no longer refer to myself as a POC. I'm a black woman. I'm blackity black, 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 right? When that happened, I decided that I no longer wanted to reside in the United States of America, and I had several decisions of where I wanted to go. I was invited to be able to become a resident in Canada, as well as to become a resident in Mexico, and do those things with my job because I'm a truck driver. Okay, and I was able to work or whatever. I decided to go to Mexico. So I am now a resident of the United States of America, where I own a home here, and I also own property in the province of Merida, Mexico. Yes. So when I went to Mexico, it was a different thing for me. Everything was Spanish. I had to learn to adapt and everything. So I basically went through the process of what we would consider a green card process in the United States, where I'm not a citizen, but I'm actually a legal resident. I'm able to work, contribute, and everything like that. I am actually doing that in Mexico. I am a resident of Mexico, even though I'm still a citizen of the United States. I'm able to work there, contribute. When I went there, I expected to get the racism, the colorism, everything. Okay, I'm Black American. I'm in Mexico. I do speak very minimal Spanish. I'm learning my way through, and I thought that I was going to be discriminated against and everything that we get when the Mexicans come here. Everything was totally opposite. I was overwhelmingly welcomed. I was introduced to their systems. I was put on their systems where they helped me financially. They helped me where I got housing, everything, whatever. The same thing that we provide to the Mexicans when they come here for asylum or whatever in the United States was provided to me when I then fled from Mexico because I was upset with the political climate in my own country. Those things were provided for me. Did I experience any kind of racism from Mexicans? No, I did not. Did I experience the colorism that I had Mexicans? No, I did not. I didn't feel all of those things as an African American in their country, asking them for help because I was fleeing my own political prosecution here in this country with MAGA and the Red Hats and Donald Trump. So I look at the fact that there are Mexicans that are fleeing into the United States. But at the end of the day, what I learned in Mexico was that most of the people that were fleeing illegally into the United States from Mexico
were not mostly Mexicans. There were people that were fleeing into the United States through Mexico. So there were the other people in the Americas, El Salvador, those people, they had caravans of people because you could walk into the United States from Mexico. Most of the people that came in illegally, not claiming asylum through coyotes, illegally into the United States were not Mexican people. They were people who came through Mexico and used that as a vehicle to get into the United States illegally to work, do whatever. The Mexicans that came through that were illegal were the ones that also came through from coyotes. But if you look at the ratio of it, most of them were not Mexican people. There were people of Latino heritage that came through Mexico because you could walk through Mexico into the United States.
Can I ask you though? I mean, let's say there was a lot of Salvadorians and other
Yes,
Hispanics, right?
yes,
The only reason we're saying anything about Mexico is because the Mexicans are the ones who are coming up on stage saying that they feel entitled to the
yes,
country. You don't
yes,
have El Salvadorian, you don't have people from El Salvador or any other Latin country coming up here saying that they feel entitled to citizenship. It's the
other than
Mexicans who are coming here
other than
saying
the
that they
Cuban.
feel entitled to
The,
citizenship. So
the
that's the reason
Cuban,
why we're talking about Mexicans. It's the Mexican flags that are being waved around in Los Angeles all over the place. There's really no other flags
yeah.
like that. So
The reason
that's
why
why
the
we're
Mexican
having to
flags
focus on them. But
the reason why the Mexican flags are being held in Los Angeles and things like that is because they are the border state to Mexico. They're the border state. So the majority of them that have come from Mexico are saying you're deporting my people, whatever. But you're looking at the fact that also I am in Jacksonville, Florida. So down here in Florida, it's the Cuban flags that are waving down here, not the Mexican flags, but they also have come in here legally or illegally. It's all the Latino community. We're just focusing on the Mexicans because right now the outraisings is coming from Los Angeles, which is the border state where Tijuana is and everything like that. So that's why you're mostly Mexican. It's all of the Latino community that's
and that's
illegal.
why I'm saying illegals. Period. We're not
Illegals, period.
singling anybody out. We're
Right.
saying people who came
Illegals,
here
period.
illegally.
I agree. What I'm saying is that I feel as though I, because of the laws that we have as a constitution here in the United States, we do not accept illegal people coming here. There are people that are coming that are claiming asylum. We have laws in place for asylum. We have laws in place for those who are applying for their green card. We have laws in place. The problem that I have with ICE is that yes, you are supposed to get the illegals out. That is your job. That is what you're supposed to do. But we have a constitution in this country. And under this constitution, that means they have the right to be seen by legal counsel. They have a right to a day in court. And what's happening right now is that those people that are here illegally, that are seeking asylum, are not being provided what says in our Constitution that they have a legal right to have a court date before being deported. I don't support them being here illegally. I do not. I do, on the other hand, support the Constitution of the United States. So ICE, yes, are being thugs at the point to where you're deporting people, you're not taking names, you're deporting actual people who were born here in the United States. You're deporting people to countries that they don't even belong to. They came from Mexico. So why are you deporting them to El Salvador?
Well,
At the end of the
you
day,
literally just said, ma'am, that they're not Mexican. You said they came from
I
Mexico, and
said
they're not actually Mexican.
there are several different layers to where they came from. But the people who are Mexican or El Salvador or wherever they came from, they're not being deported to their actual original countries because they're not being afforded their day in court to
Ma'am, can
determine
I?
where they came from.
Okay, okay. Can I ask you? I got a couple questions. The first
Okay.
question I have to ask you: if there are, if somebody, if you were the president of any country,
Right.
and I keep saying this, and if somebody crawled under your barbed wire fence at the border, would you
Right.
sit up there and be all like, "I witnessed you crawl under the barbed wire," and we have video. I witnessed you crawl under my barbed wire barrier I'm going to send you to court in order for a judge to determine whether you need to be deported or not. Are you going to do that
Yes,
for millions?
because that's in our United States Constitution.
Ma'am, that is an exploitation. This is why Trump has made the amendment he did to the 14th Amendment, because y'all have
Change
literally
the
tried
entire
to.
Constitution
No,
itself.
he's not changing the entire Constitution. Y'all are exploiting that. Okay? And
I
first
understand
off,
that.
to be honest, I don't even think that that would even apply to you, because that would, legally speaking, you would be invading another country. I don't think the right to see a fair trial and go to court counts in that circumstance. But let's say it did. In the circumstance that now we have millions of people who've exploited the law, if we have millions of people who've exploited the law, do you not think that there needs to be an amendment to that exploitation? We need
Yes.
to plug the hole that they've been exploiting.
Yes, I do believe that we need to plug the hole of the part of the loophole that they've exploited. The thing is that the way that ICE is going about it now is not the way to amend that.
Okay, if you were the president, how would you go about it? How would you? Because you would be in the
What I would
authority.
do, because the president being 40, 47, 45, whoever he is, he
Mhm.
has the Supreme Court in his back pocket. We all know that. What I would do is I would present legislation, because the Republican Party and Trump do control all three branches of the government.
Okay.
I would go through and I would plug those holes that are there first. Plug those holes that are there. Okay, this is eradicated. This is eradicated. This is eradicated. Therefore, we don't have to go. You don't have to go to court. You don't have to see a judge. You don't have to go through these things, and we can manually deport you. However, we must manually deport you to the country from whence thy came, not to random countries and random prisons that the people never came from. Okay, there's a way to do things. And because he has control of all three versions of the government, he can get that done. The way that they're doing it, number one right now is inhumane. Number two, it's against our Constitution. And if you swear to the Constitution as a senator, a president, whoever, regardless of how it's written, even if you don't agree with it, you have to follow the laws of the Constitution
So real
until it
clean, you
has been
forgetting a
You're
couple
changed.
major
reaching.
things. You forgetting a couple major things. So in order for due process to be due process, it requires some type of funding. Most people who are undocumented don't have the funds for proper due processing. So common sense is for the law to move forward with how the law sees fit, since they don't have proper representation and or funding. Two, you're going over the fact that since they don't have proper representation or funding for said representation, for the due process part, they don't have they clearly don't have their documentation for America to truly know the truth about where they originated from. So you
Then it
keep
has to be
saying they're from this,
eradicated
they're
in
from
our
that.
laws.
I only know off of what you're telling me through with your mouth. Where's your documentation that you were supposed
Those
to
are
have?
holes in our laws that we need to fix.
Well,
And then
No,
right
that's
now we
there.
need
That's
to
the
fix that, but
error.
we have millions of people here. So before we sit up there and say we got to draft new laws and go to Congress and everything like that, we need a clean sweep here.
How you
All
going to
right.
clean sweep
exactly.
when you're circumventing the laws that are in place
The
already?
laws have been exploited. So yes, they in this situation,
So
this
we
extreme
re-exploit our own laws.
situation, the laws, yes, do have to be. If I was the president, I would say so.
So you would
The
re-exploit
laws
our
do
own
have to do
laws.
that. The law of, if I see somebody, if this was me, if I ran the country and I see somebody crawl under a barbed wire fence, or coyotes bring people here illegally. Now, due process is for
No, I don't
people
have a
who
Mexican
actually,
boyfriend.
ma'am, due process is for people who enter the country legally, but they are actually being
Exactly.
deported for some reason. But if you're going to say that somebody can crawl under the barrier and they still have, now they got a court date just because they made it to American soil, I would say, for the sake the fact that America is in this emergency, we're going to bypass that for right now. That's what I
Because
would do.
we wrote it that way. If we wrote it that way, we wrote it that
That's an
way.
oversight, ma'am. That's what I'm saying.
Then
It's
they
an
need to fix it
ma'am.
first before
It's
they
an
go through mass
ma'am,
deportation.
ma'am.
Fix it.
ma'am, you can't fix it when you have several million people in the country they're not supposed to be in.
You can. All you gotta do is go to the Supreme Court, change the law, and then you can do your mass deportation. But fix the
Change.
law first.
First off, you're saying change. It's not a. It's a constitution. You're saying change the constitution.
Right.
Change the constitution to what? What should you
Change the
change the
Constitution
constitution?
to say that it is that they do not have to have due processing of law and going before a judge in order to be deported. That's what has to be changed. Right now,
But
that's a part of
that
our
law,
Constitution.
ma'am. Okay, so we gonna stop that because that law. I don't even think. Actually let me look it up real quick. Hold on.
Please do.
Let me look it up. Okay, because
And
if it was the case of just changing the law, I don't see why you have an issue.
I don't have an
You're
issue.
saying right
What
now,
I'm
what you're
saying is,
saying right
if
now
I
is
have an
they're
issue
doing the
because
same
the way
thing,
that they're
but you're
doing
saying
it.
let's just make what they're doing legal.
No,
What's the
right,
problem?
because it's illegal right now. What I'm saying is the way that they're doing it is inhumane to the point to where
How is
because
it now?
it says in our
Is
Constitution that
inhumane?
they
Okay,
have due process. So if we're
Man,
not giving them due process, why are any of our other laws upheld if we can pick and choose what laws by our Constitution is
I'm sorry, but
upheld?
you sound a little delulu right now with
I'm
what
not
you're saying,
Delulu. Our
because
laws are
one
you're
minute.
laws.
literally no, you're literally trying to make a point to say that they need to change this, and if
Right.
they're not, no, 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 you're saying that they need to change this little piece when you're throwing out all the facts that everybody's saying the country is overwhelmed
It is.
with, hold on, the country is overwhelmed with illegal immigrants.
It is.
So, and another thing that you said, which further gave me this conclusion that you're being a little delulu. If somebody comes and breaks into your house, if somebody breaks into your personal home, you're not going to say, oh, I'm gonna get them out. I'm gonna get them out of my house and make sure that they make it back home. No, your whole purpose is going to make sure that you stop them from being anywhere near your home.
That's
Where
right.
they go after they get away from your home is not your concern.
That's right.
first, ma'am, you're being disingenuous because the first thing you came up here, you went on a long rant to try to establish that the people who are illegal here are not Mexican. That's
Not
the
all
very, hold
Mexican.
on,
I said not
man.
all
You went on
Mexican.
a long, ma'am. You went on a long thing to say, "Oh, these people are not Mexican. These people are from other countries. They
I
just
said
came
not
through
all
Mexico." That was
Mexican.
the first thing you said.
Don't
So
misquote
really,
me. I said
ma'am,
not all
all
Mexican.
this, the law is this way, and we got to change the law. I remember from start to finish, the first thing you came out here and said
I
is,
said that they
ma'am,
are
the
not
first thing
all
you said,
Mexican. Quote me
okay, ma'am.
correctly.
Are you okay? Not all, not all.
Thank
You
you.
made the case. You made the case that these are other groups of people coming through Mexico.
As well.
First off, ma'am, you made the case saying that after the election, you didn't like the way the election went, so you
Right.
immigrated to Mexico, and they
Right.
were very nice to you, and they were very kind, and you didn't experience no racism or
Right.
discrimination. And then you further went on to defend Mexicans against the allegations of racism, which I don't know why you would do, unless you maybe are not as African American, quote unquote, as you said you were, which is
I am.
why I'm hearing maybe an accent. But okay, let's just pause that right there because I am hearing an accent. I've been hearing it the whole time, but
Me too.
I'm gonna pause that. But I'm saying that's the very first thing that you came and did was you said, "Oh, Mexicans treat me great," and the
They
people who
do.
came here and the people who came here are not Mexican. The
Not
people who
all
came,
Mexican.
ma'am, if you don't stop, the people who came here are from other countries. That's the argument you were making. You're saying not all now. That's not what you were saying in the
Yes,
beginning.
it was.
Okay, that's not what you said. You did not
That's what I
say that.
said.
You were saying that there are other people
Say
coming
that.
from Mexico and that Mexicans treat you right. Mexicans were not racist. That's what you were making it seem. You were making it seem like the anti-black stereotypes of Mexico is embellished or untrue based off of your experience. Then you went to say the way ICE is doing things is inhumane and illegal because they are not being having their court date, and we're saying this: the country is in an immigration crisis right now, which would take hundreds, if not thousands of years to have several million people. The amount of illegal immigrants in this country could actually make a whole new country. And you're saying that all of these people need to have a day in court, even though we witnessed the fact that they were never allowed to be here legally. And you're sitting up there arguing about how inhumane it is because we should change the law before we get rid of them. So I can
Afro,
tell what you're
you're
doing
tether.
is being disingenuous because the first thing you came to do is vouch for Mexico and
You're
Mexicans.
tether. She's a tether.
I'm a
Where's
what?
where's your
With an
accent?
accent
Where's
who's
your accent
been
from?
on these
What
Where's your
apps
accent? My
and
accent. I was
know.
born and raised here in the United States of America. Born and raised in
that does
New
where's
Jersey.
your accent from? Where'd you get your accent from?
What accent?
Am I the
We
only
hear
one
it.
who hears it?
No,
No,
I heard it
And
from
I'm
the
not
I
and
heard
I
it
beginning.
don't
You
too.
even be
know
on
what
these
I
platforms.
think?
Come on
I
now.
was
I
born and
think that
raised in
she's
New
been.
Jersey,
Hold on.
here in the United States of America, in New
Hold
Jersey.
on, hold on, hold on. There's immigrants in Jersey too, and they're born there too.
Right.
You get it?
I was born in
So
New
this is
Jersey.
what I want to say. This is what I want to say. I think she's been on these apps and she knows about the American Indian and she knows about African American slash Black American,
Right.
and she just used that to sit here and say that's what she was, right?
I am.
That's what I think. hmm
I
I
am.
think you have some immigration in your background,
From
especially
where?
being
From
from New
where?
Jersey.
From where?
Especially being from from Jersey, you can either be African or Caribbean. There's some
From where? I'm telling you, I
cosplayers
was
in
born and raised in
Jersey,
New
and we
Jersey.
know the Dutch brought some people from the West Indians to New York and New Jersey. We
I'm
know
not
that.
from West Indians, no.
Right,
I'm
ma'am,
not.
ma'am. So your
I'm
position,
indigenous
ma'am,
American to the United States of America. My grandmother
where
was
do your indigenous
Okay,
come
born
can I
from?
my,
say
my
I just I
grandmother is Cherokee, who was born here and raised here on a
In
reservation here.
Jersey?
And
In Jersey?
no, no.
Where?
I was
Which
born in New
one?
Jersey. I was born in my Jersey. My
Where's your
grandmother
mother
was born
born?
in North Dakota on a reservation.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And
So
okay.
your
I'm
and your mom?
indigenous.
Let's say for the sake of the argument, because we don't have all night to sit up here and prove that.
Right.
Let's say for the sake of the argument, you're correct. I hear a very unique accent that
From
I don't hear
where?
Black Americans have. I'm not
From
sure
where?
It's
where.
not
That's why I
Jersey.
asked you. But I'm gonna ignore that. I'm gonna completely
Thank
ignore the
you.
fact that I said that. I
Thank
am
you.
gonna say you first came out here and you first came out here and said something about moving to Mexico because you didn't like the election,
I did not.
which was a little odd to me because Trump has been president before. But okay, fine. You moved to Mexico because you
Right.
didn't like the turn. You didn't like, and you can move to Mexico or wherever for whatever
I
reason.
decided to move in 2016, but my
Okay,
children
you can move for
decided me to stay.
ma'am.
So
Okay, you can move for that's not what you said in the beginning. You said you were upset about the
I
election,
was.
about the way it turned out, so that's why
I
you
was.
moved. Okay, but you can move for whatever reason. Then you
Thank you.
went on to say, well, when I went to Mexico, they were super helpful.
They
They didn't
were.
discriminate against me, and that's your anecdotal experience. But
All of that's the truth.
you're saying that to be a contrarian to everybody who's saying that Mexicans are anti-black. You came and the first thing you did was try to use your anecdotal
I'm not
experience
Trini.
to be a contrarian to the narrative that Hispanics, and especially Mexicans, are anti-black.
It's
Then
my
you
Exactly.
went
personal
on,
experience.
ma'am, that is what you did. Stop,
It's
please.
my personal experience.
Ma'am, okay, I said it's your anecdotal experience.
Thank you.
But the only reason you said that was to disprove the narrative that we all have been
Right.
establishing that Hispanic Mexicans are anti-black. Otherwise, there was no need to bring that up.
Yep.
You brought that up for a reason. There was no need to bring that up. Then you went on to the thing where you were talking about how the people who are coming over here, they're being called Mexicans, but the thing is that these are people coming from Mexico. That's what you started to say.
Right.
And then after that, I was all like, what difference does it make? Then after I said, what difference does it make? Then you went on to talk about how it's immoral because of due process. I remember
Right.
every point you made. I remember every single point you made.
You're right.
Okay. Let me establish the law. Okay. Because I just Googled it while y'all talking about due process. And I'm going to do this and then we're
Okay.
going to wrap things up. It's almost 5 o'clock. It says,
Okay.
generally, due process cannot be entirely skipped in regards to illegal immigration in the United States. The U.S. Constitution and legal precedent establish that all persons in the United States, regardless of immigration status, have due process rights, though the extent of the rights may vary based on factors like length and presence of legal status. Now, it's saying, however, there are circumstances where due process protections for illegal immigrants are limited or altered. Okay? Um, Expected removal. This process allows immigrant officers to quickly deport certain immigrants without a hearing before immigration judge. This typically applies to individual encounters at the border or those who cannot prove they've been continuously present in the U.S. for at least 2 years. Then there was another one, Alien Enemies Act. During wartime, this act
We're
permits
not
the
at war.
government to during wartime, this act permits the government to deport illegal enemies while it limits due process. The Supreme Court has ruled that immigrants must receive notice in a reasonable time to challenge such deportation in court. Okay. Now it's saying important considerations. Now, asylum seekers, now they're changing the rules of asylum seekers right there. But those two things I said, now the whole thing of they all have to go to court, there are, first off, in America law, in the Supreme Court, there are pretty much an exception to every single rule. There's pretty much an exception to every single law. There is no law that's 100% black and white and it has to be followed exactly to the T.
We're
There's
not
so
at
many
war.
court case precedents. There's so many Supreme Court precedents that there's pretty much an exception to the law. And there is an exception to the whole due process when it pertains to illegal immigrants. All right.
We're not at war, though, sir.
That's not the only time there can be an exception.
The other exception is irrelevant at this point
No,
because
it isn't.
No,
it
it's
is.
not.
I just
No,
heard
it
what you
is.
read, and that
This
exception
is
is
the exception
irrelevant.
that is being made, ma'am.
But it's irrelevant at this point because they're applying it under the false context. If you apply it in the false context, it's not legal.
What false context are they
The
applying?
false context is that they can be deported. You read it. You said it that they can be deported based on the fact that they are coming at the time of crossing the border. They are not crossing the border at this time that they're picking them up. They're picking them up at work, at school, at
No,
their
ma'am,
jobs.
no. There's a certain. That's not what I said.
That's what you
They
said.
can.
I heard you read
Those
it.
are two things. Let me reread it. It says this typically, and when they say typically, they don't mean it's absolute always, and that's the only time.
Oh.
This typically applies to individuals encountered at the border,
At the border.
or, ma'am, or those who cannot prove they've been continuously present in the U.S. for at least 2 years.
And they're not allowing those people to prove that they've been here for 2
Ma'am,
years.
okay.
Cannot
So it's
prove
not
it if they're
asking for
undocumented.
Now you just moving the goalposts. I'm
They're
reading the law,
not.
and you sitting up there saying
Yeah,
that this
you
don't apply.
are. You are
Ma'am, they
loud.
They
cannot
are
prove it
they
if
are
they're
deporting actual
undocumented. If
American
they've been working
citizens.
under the table, you got to be working under the table. You can't prove you've been working. You got to have an address. You can't prove you have an address because you're not a legal resident.
Right.
It's going over your head. If they
I
don't
agree
have the
with that.
proper documents already, they cannot prove the second half of what he just said.
I agree with what you're saying. What I'm saying
No, you
is they're
don't.
not
I don't ever
allowing
think
the
you
people to prove
understand.
that
No,
because
you
they're
moving the
supposed to prove
goalposts.
that
Every
because
single
they're
thing I
supposed to
say,
prove
you
that
moving
at
the
their court
goalposts.
date. They're supposed to prove that at
Well,
their
bring
court
them
date.
to your house and help them out.
No,
They
they're
can.
supposed
They
to
can come to
prove
my
it
house.
before it gets to a court date. They're supposed to prove it before they're getting deported. That's what you're
Then
supposed to do.
why are we
Prove it when you
deporting
touch down
actual
in
United
America.
States citizens who've been born here and deporting them without giving
Anchor
them due
baby.
process?
Man, first off, I think that
Girl.
that's a fear mongering thing. I have not heard
It's
of
Absolutely.
not.
any legitimate.
It's
I have not
not.
heard of
Okay.
any
It's been
legitimate citizen,
proven.
ma'am. I have not heard, and people been saying that for several months. I've not seen one name of any actual because they've
Oh,
been
so
bringing
Mr.
up
Garcia,
names.
who went over
I
there,
have
who
not
was
seen a
deported,
name.
and
Listen,
they had to
minute.
go and get him
If you
out
don't
of there.
stop, okay. People been saying that for the longest time. There are actual names of people that they're CNN and all of that stuff been talking about. I haven't seen an actual name of someone who is illegally a citizen based off the 14th Amendment that they're deporting them where? And then even if that's the case, these are anchor babies.
Yeah,
Right.
they're
These
lying.
are anchor babies.
I just
So
said
You're
they're
gonna
going
come
back
with
anchor
all
essentially
of
with
this.
their
Now, mind you,
parents.
people go like, I don't mind deportation. Just follow the law. Follow the law. Okay, so I just read the law. Well, I don't like that. No, hold on, no. So you have an issue with deportation, and you're trying to hide it under the
Mhm.
guise of it's not being done legally.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are just using their emotions to throw out logic, and that's what's really going on with the issue. Because at the end of the day, it's just the reality. The law is the law. None of us are above the law, and that's just the reality. Like,
at the end of the day, they knew exactly what they was getting into when they was bringing their asses over here. They sent their children over here as well, and now they're having to deal with all of this. Like I said,
yeah, it's like
anchor
trying to
bait.
finesse. It's like you're trying to finesse, and now you're getting caught up for it, and you're mad that you're getting caught.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
Afro, can she land before I pew pew the plane down?
Yeah,
Because I
go
gotta
ahead,
take
go
this
ahead. We're
flight.
about to wrap things up in like a few minutes.
Well, I just want to add this real quick, and I'm gonna shut up. And
I've landed
y'all
already.
could drop me down. I just wanted to say, like, touching back on them saying, "Oh, well, they stood up for Black Lives Matter and all of this." I just want
That
to
was
tell all the
bullshit.
Black people that are on here listening that has their stance that they're sitting this one out. Don't let nobody manipulate you into feeling like you're wrong, because to be honest, the everybody waits, like we're like the center of everything. They're waiting for Black people to react. That's the real thing. And I'm not even just talking about the immigrants. Every time something happens, we're always the main focus. Somehow we get pulled into it every single time. Don't be a crash out for something that has absolutely nothing to do with you. And even if they claim that they were doing the Black Lives Matter, we don't need nobody to be on our side. The difference is we're not asking people to be on our side before we step. Like, we're gonna step when we feel that we need to come together. I don't care. Y'all can say black on black crime, all this and all that. But one thing about it, Black people really do come together when it really matters. And
This is one of them.
exactly. And that's the thing. It's like everybody knows if Black people step up, it's gonna be like stuff is gonna
It's
shake.
gonna be
That's
martial law,
yeah,
and that
because
is what
stuff is
they're
gonna
trying
shake.
to
We're
do.
not gonna just be pushed over
This is a
because
bait and switch tactic. They are doing everything that they can to get us. If we go out there, they gonna go home, and then once again, we are all over the media. We are all over the news, and not one of them is gonna send a damn canoe, a lowrider, or a damn stagecoach to come get our asses out. This feels
exactly.
different, and we know it feels different, and that is why we sitting our black asses down. If you
We're
don't
not
like
going out
it,
there.
I'm not talking to you, ma'am. If you don't like it, you have several options. You can take a plane, train, automobile, or you can swim your ass right on back to where you came from. We ain't doing shit.
I agree with what you
Exactly.
said. I didn't say that you were talking to me. I said we're not going out there because we're not.
I mean, about the way you talking, I can't
I'm
really
part of the
say that about
92%,
you.
ma'am. So no, I am
I
all for
mean,
my
I'm
people sitting
sorry. That
down.
Are you
sounds
currently
still
living in
tether.
America right now?
I am part of the 90%, and I don't agree with us going out there protesting for nobody that didn't
Are
stand
you
for
are
us.
you are you living in America right now?
I am.
Okay.
I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I do also possess a residence in Merida, Mexico.
All right. That's great.
Well, I
All
feel
right.
like you should go encourage them to love their country and go to Mexico like you did.
Okay, I do that.
Exactly.
I am Florida, so I do have a snowbird. So I do 6 months in 6 months. I have a
That's
residency in
Yeah,
Mexico. And
exactly.
I do six
Go
months in six
go and
months.
advocate more for them to go
I'm
back and do
advocating
it the
for
right
what
way.
I stand up for, what I believe. I believe in my country. I believe I'm in the 92%. I believe I stood for what was ready for all people. But at the end of the day, I do stand for our Constitution, and I want our Constitution to be applied correctly.
ma'am. To be totally honest, when I just read the law, the Constitution is being applied correctly.
It's not.
It is.
It is not,
Do you
without due process.
understand? Do you understand? Even though they have a right to see a judge, if they get detained by ICE, because ICE can't just send them back. If they do get detained, they have a right to forfeit that.
But they're
Because
not doing that
listen,
though. They're just
if
deporting them
if
without
you are
it.
not legally here, there is no point of going to see a judge anyway.
Because
Honestly,
our Constitution
listen. If
requires
you're
it.
if you crawled under barbed wire and snuck into a
You
country,
have to catch them at
if
the barbed
if
wire.
if you crawled under here and snuck in here and
That's
you
what the law
know,
says. You have
if
to catch
you
them
do
at the
not
barbed
stop
wire.
talking, if you snuck in here through coyotes or however, but you have absolutely no legal standing in this country, you didn't extend your visa, you never had one. You didn't
Follow
extend
our
your green
laws or
card,
fix
you
our
never
laws.
had one. You have no paperwork verifying that you were ever given permission to be in this country. What is the point of going to a judge to tell the judge, yeah, I don't have any paperwork
Because we wrote
verifying
it
that
as
I have?
law. That's why. We
No,
wrote
you
it as
no.
law.
You're
Even
missing the
ma'am,
point that he's trying
ma'am,
to get to
you are
you.
being
He's
too
telling us a
emotional and
setup.
you're missing what I'm saying.
You're missing the
I'm
point of what
saying
he's
that
saying.
there are several people, once they get detained by ICE, they say you might as well send me home. They don't even want to wait in the detention center for a judge to just say they have to leave anyway. They might
Okay.
as well just go, which is what a lot of them choose to do
So
because
court.
they know for a fact they came to the country without permission. So there's no
Exactly.
reason for them to sit in the detention center for several, which would at this point would take years for them to see a judge, for the judge to say, yeah, you gotta go. They
I
might as
agree.
well just go at that point.
I agree. But for
One,
those who don't
Big deal.
agree,
What is the big
give
deal
them
if that's the case?
because for those who don't agree, follow our Constitution and give them their day in court.
Girl, go out
Yeah.
there and take a
Okay.
sign and go
We
watch
keep
it.
it moving.
one of the
We'll move. We'll
commenters,
keep on moving. All right, y'all.
one
We
of the commenters asked her, "Why did she come back from fleeing Trump's persecution?"
I didn't flee Trump's prosecution. I've owned a house in Mexico for more than 4 years now.
Well,
That's
Okay,
not what you
guys.
you
said.
said
first
out of
got
your
up
own
there
mouth
though.
that
That's
you
not what you
left the
said when you
United
first
I
got
said
up
States
there.
I left
to flee
because
the
I decided
persecution.
I decided to spend more time in my Mexico home than my United States
You
home
said
because at
after
the
this
end,
election, you
yes,
said
because after the election, I was butthurt because I was part of the 92% and
And
nobody
you said that
ma'am,
gave
you
me a
ma'am,
left to
hold
vote.
on,
flee
hold on. Let me
persecution.
just go. Me
Listen,
and her. You said after the election, you were so disappointed. You were a part of the 92%. You wanted
right,
to move. You didn't know where you wanted to go to, whether that was Mexico or Canada,
right,
right? But you
right,
decided to go to Mexico,
right.
and they helped you get a house, and they helped you get a place to
No,
stay in
no,
Mexico.
no, no, no,
Now you're
no.
saying,
I
okay,
said
that's
when I
not,
went to
ma'am.
Mexico, they
What
were
you
very
were
nice to
saying
me.
in the beginning was
That's
that
what
you
you
moved
I
said.
after the
I
election.
already
The
okay. Let
election
me
was
make
just
clarity.
in November. That
I
wasn't even a
already
whole
had
year ago.
property.
That's not what you said.
Okay, let me clarify that now. I already had property in Mexico. I didn't live there 100%. I was a snowbird. I'm a snowbird from Jacksonville. I went back and forth, back and forth. I was so burnt hurt from the election. I decided in my mind, fuck this shit. I'm going to go and live in my house in Mexico. That's what I decided to do because I was butthurt from the election. I had already been going back and forth from Mexico for several years. I had a choice to go to Canada because they offered me a job because I'm a truck driver. So I could go to Canada and get a house there if I wanted to. I
But
decided
okay,
not to go to Canada and I decided to go to Mexico because I was so distraught about the way the election came out. I
so
already
what,
was going back and
so
forth.
really, what that means is that you already had a place in Mexico, and
Yes.
after the election, you pretty much took a vacation back in your home in Mexico. You didn't
No,
move.
I thought I was going to move. I said to myself, you know what? Instead of vacationing back every 6 months, I'm just going to fucking go because I'm so pissed
Okay,
off.
now do you realize though? That's not what you said when you first got here.
I did not
That's
realize that
not the
that's not what
story
I
you
said, but
implied.
I'm glad I
You
could
didn't
clarify it
imply
now.
that story when you first got here, ma'am.
I do apologize that I did
All
not make
right,
it
all right.
clear.
Well, it's okay. It's okay.
She up
I
here
guess it's all late for
cosplaying.
everybody. We don't
I'm
know
not
where we living or
cosplaying.
what we
I
doing
am
and
who
how
I
long
am.
we
I
lived
don't
there.
have to
I
make
guess
up
that's the
shit.
case. It's
Peter
late. It's
Cartel.
late. If
All
people
right,
forget
I
what
just
country
want
they
to
live in
tell.
all the time, I guess. But we're gonna have to wrap things up.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up for real this time. I'm sorry, real queen. I just want to tell you this. You just dis like dis you disproved your own point when you said, "Oh, they're coming over here for asylum and all of this stuff." When you had mentioned it earlier when you were going on, but you just when you said that you were able to go to their country and get all of these benefits and do all of these things,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing happened. So
Mm-hmm.
clearly it's not as bad as y'all or they are trying to make it out to seem. And I'm
Right.
going to add this to this too. Um, People try to sweep it under the rug and make it seem like it's really something going on over there, and it's really not. A lot of people. I have a best friend, and I wish that she was up because she currently lives in Mexico right now,
Mm-hmm.
and but she's Afro Latino, but
Mm-hmm.
she's doing very well over there as well. So they're not being persecuted. They're not dealing with all this fake stuff, these fake stories or narratives that you guys are, whoever tries to push, that it's so bad over there that they have to come to America. They literally come over here, and I seen this firsthand growing up. They literally come over here, and and they're smart for doing it this way. But I mean, their time's up. They come over here, they save up money, they send money back to Mexico,
Right.
and they own land and they do things like that, and they send money to their families over there. So they're benefiting off of being here as well. So it's not this persecution or that narrative that you guys are trying to spin. And you even said it out your own mouth, because if it was that bad as everyone, including yourself, tried to make it, you wouldn't have been able to go over there and get the luxury of getting assistance from their government and getting your house and doing all of whatever you said you did.
I agree.
All right. So, what? Thank you all. We've been on here. We still got hundreds of people in the room. We've been on here for a very long time. Um, so we're gonna wrap things up right now. We're gonna wrap things up. I'm gonna let I was gonna let everybody get their last words out, but I think everybody got their point across, and we're just gonna have to pick this up at another time. Y'all can follow me on For the Culture on YouTube if y'all want to hear the playback. I'm gonna let BX close us out.
So thank you everybody for joining the panel and even those who interacted in the chat. This was one of Afro Elite's best lives, and I really enjoyed myself tonight. But I want to say this. The 14th Amendment is something that our ancestors, FBA ancestors, foundational Black American ancestors fought for. And for it to be exploited in such a manner, when we could look to the Puerto Ricans who have their own citizenship date and even some Native American tribes without latching onto us. And so I would encourage y'all, if y'all don't want to be contested, if y'all want some type of allyship with those who are willing, fight for your own things without bringing down our community, because illegal immigration does harm foundational Black American impoverished communities the most. We can look to New York to see that. They were getting thousands in food stamps and cash assistance. Meanwhile, and all Black Americans or those in those areas needing assistance were being denied for things like rental arrears being paid, regular subsidies, so I mean it's not our issue. We don't like to be exploited, and when we say that it harms us, it does. And they don't pour back into our communities because we have it right here. She just said it. They come here, they work, they send back money to build up their country. What do they pour back into our community? The same ones that's giving them a portion of their wealth. Why? Because they're doctors in our community and they're business owners in our community. Meanwhile, our businesses are going down. So what foundational Black Americans are doing are delineating. We're a lineage who descend from the United States, chattel slavery period. And when people migrate here, they expect us to get on board with them, or they forget that we're here. And so that's the issue. We have to put ourselves first at some time. So y'all go ahead, fight the good fight, but please stop acting like we are obligated to help y'all. We've done enough. And also, please stay out of my inbox. If you were on the panel, you didn't agree with me, or on the chat and didn't want to come up and contest me, there's no need for me to check my inbox from my laptop and see a man in there telling me I was crazy for saying something. I mean, have some guts about yourself. And then when you get off the panel and out of the room, don't message me. Get a life. That's all. That's all Afro. Because the immigrants and all these other people, the racist, biracial people, they get in my inbox like, you racist, be you this, you that. I mean, I've never come off a panel and decided to go in your inbox. Yeah, it's just not that serious. Why? Because life goes on, and New York has a bigger issue. Because we're facing like a triple erasure. So what you're witnessing and what you're hearing right now is a reaction to years of disrespect and the fact that we realize that we're under an ethnocide, which is the systemic, deliberate destruction of a culture or an ethnic group. And that's what Black Americans are facing. And it's double hard in places like New York, Cali, and Florida. And at some point, we got to put ourselves first to combat that. So while y'all didn't create the system, y'all are complicit in upholding it. Don't contribute to our erasure. And if you're not going to help us, then fight your own fight. But we're tired. Y'all got to fight your own fight. Start by getting your own citizenship dates without latching on to us, and maybe you'll get somewhere. You know, that's all. Because I can ramble.
Yeah.
I can.
But with
But
that
thank you,
being,
y'all, for joining, and thank you for all who gifted.
all right.
Thank
Y'all
you,
go.
Grace. I appreciate it.
You will. All right.
Yeah.
Good night, y'all.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Afro.
Good night.
Good night, mamas. Peace, love, and reparations,
Uh,
Foundation of Black Americans. I love
You
us
said
some
reparations.
here.
I'm for that.
Good night. Thank you for having me up.
Tell Mexico that's where you will reside at now. Now I don't
exactly.
know. You sound like a Democratic shield to me. So you may be of the lineage, but you're a shield. You
Yep. But
part of the
Thank you for the
92%, but
gifts.
Kamala ain't really Black American. She's not of
It's
the lineage. And we want to
Kamala.
see of the lineage. Listen, she
we're
is what
gonna
she
we're gonna pick
is,
this up
okay? We
later.
want to
All
see
right.
of the lineage
Okay. Good
in
night.
office. We want of the lineage in office.
Yes.